Yesterday, I found myself just sitting in one of my chairs looking out the window. It was toward the end of the day, and and I recognized, or I realized, that if anyone saw me in that time, because I'd been just sitting there for about an hour, kind of not, quote, doing anything, and anyone who saw me at that time might surmise I'm just relaxing, certainly not working. I'm just sitting there, just sitting, relaxing, being. And the truth is, I was working. I was working. I was being with my life. And in that case, I was being with the work part of my life. I was feeling into my creativity, my opportunities, my work relationships, a couple of different partnerships and dynamics that I'm considering. I was not rushing to conclusions or decisions or outcomes. I was just being with these different parts of my life and allowing them to just wash over me. And by not rushing to conclusions, I was able to be with my intuition, which is the soul, self, source, a deeper, more vast well of wisdom and knowing, much more authentic than just the logical mind figuring things out. I bring in the logical mind later to kind of look at the strategy of how to implement, perhaps, or the timing of what I feel I want to do. But today I just wanted to speak to this art form, the art of contemplation, that I invite for all of us, that we find time, if we can, just to sit and be with our lives and just feel into what's happening. And then to feel into and play with different possible responses. What if I met this condition of my life or this opportunity with a more open heart, from a more surrendered space? What happens within me when I allow this part of my life to be present, when I just allow it to come into my awareness, certain dynamic of my work, of my life, and just notice, how do I feel? Do I feel fearful? Do I feel constricted? Do I feel excited? Do I feel confused? And just to be with that. And just to notice that. And, interesting. Okay, is there anything I want to do with that? What are some of the different ways I can shape my way of being? Show them if you ask again from your iPhone. That's Siri thinking I'm talking to her. Thank you. I'm good. So this art form of just taking time to feel into different dynamics of our lives and play with possibility of shaping our way of being in the world, of how we want to move in our world and respond to the world and to our lives, and giving ourselves the time to play with different possibilities. that time I spent yesterday and most days, I mean, this is kind of a lot of how I now live life. And it took a while to get used to it because there's long periods of not actively doing. But this time, that time yesterday that I'm referring to, and this time that I generally spend in life just feeling into it is probably some of the most productive time I spend. Feeling into possibilities. And the different possibilities of how I might meet these different dynamics and components of my life. And then doing it again the next day, maybe with the exact same question or topic or situation. Feeling it into it again. Is the answer the same? Do I still feel the same? Is there new information? New awareness, a new aha that arises, and then maybe again. There's some things that I work on that I just sit with them for weeks until the answer, the response is more consistent. And then I know, okay, yeah, I'm on track with that right there. Maybe it's somebody I might want to work with and I'm not sure. And instead of trying to decide and know, intellectually right away, I just sit with it until I know, until I really know. And maybe I come to a conclusion that I don't yet know, and there's more data that I need. Oh, okay. All right. So I don't know. And what would be beneficial? To get more data, to understand more, to ask different questions. So this invitation, this art of contemplating our lives and just being with our lives is incredibly informative, but informed from the heart, from the soul, from consciousness, rather than just informed by the database of trying to get it right or trying to land on an answer or to be certain. It takes a while to trust ourselves, to give things space and time to mature, to inform us of how we want to dance with our lives. There's a teaching or a quote by George Balanchine, who's a choreographer. And he teaches his students that rest is a phase of movement. Isn't that lovely? Rest is a phase of movement. And in dance or music, that's so true, right? You're not just trying to pack as many dance moves as you can into a short amount of time as possible, or pack as many notes as you can into a short amount of time as possible. You find the appropriate rest between the dance movements, between the notes. So maybe find ourselves just sitting and being with our lives without desperately racing toward conclusions, without rushing to a knowing that isn't informed by our own soul. Just sitting and listening and being with and allowing a thought, a question, a possibility, a relationship to present itself to us and play with it from different angles in different ways. It's more graceful. We're allowing grace to be present to the important and rich dynamics of our lives. All right, my friends, hope this is helpful, that you might find yourself just being, just sitting. And if any part of you goes, you're not doing anything, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. It's probably the most important work I do is in the sitting, in the being, and not as much in the doing. The doing comes after the being, in response to the being. The doing comes in response to the being. All right, have fun. All right, bye-bye.